Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ananda Zufar Shidqi, student ID number 1903211000049 from study program of Agribusiness, University of Trunojoyo, Madura. Now, I want to tell you about the case of CSR and GCG problem in PT Lapindo. But before that, I want you to know about the company profile of PT Lapindo. Let's check the video. Company profile of PT Lapindo. PT Lapindo was founded in 1996 by the Bakri Group after buying the stocks of American-owned Huffington Corporation and the Brantas Block Shipping Company in East Java, Indonesia. PT Lapindo is a company owned by the Bakri Group with its CEO, namely Nirwan Bakri. PT Lapindo is the one of the corporation contractors company appointed by BP Migas to carry out the process of drilling for oil and gas in Indonesia. And PT Lapindo has headquarters in Jakarta and Sidoarjo. CSR problem case at PT Lapindo. On May 27, 2006, there was a tragedy for the people of Sidoarjo Regency, namely the Lapindo mud flow. Lapindo mud is an incident of continuous release of hot mud from the ground. The mud came out after an earthquake in the area around the time PT Lapindo was drilling. This hot mud continues to come out to the surface of the ground to cover 90 hectares of land belonging to residents in just 21 days. Of course, this tragedy had a very bad impact on the surrounding community because it not only disturbed the people but also drove the people from their own land. Then, this tragedy also polluted the environment because the mud covered the land without any solution from the CSR program carried out by PT Lapindo with the occurrence of tragedy was to buy out the houses and land of the affected community. The company will pay for houses and land without interest. Then, PT Lapindo also gives the people money for the process of moving and housing contracts for affected residents for 2 years with a monthly fee of 300,000 rupiah for one person. This is stated in the Presidential Decree number 14 in 2007. However, unfortunately, the implementation of this CSR program is still not complete until now, and is not evenly distributed because there are residents who do not receive the compensation just because the resident is not included in the map of the affected area. Several problems have also arisen, such as conflict between affected residents, the number of workers who have been sent to home, and the residents who have been affected by the economy. And the CSR program carried out by that is by conducting training and facilitating accession to residents. In addition, the CSR program that is being carried out only focus on the economic sector. There is no program that resolves the problem of the mud that comes out. Even though The mud that comes out contains dangerous substance and threatens the life of the surrounding community. In this incident, PT Lapindo argued that the mud was not the result of the negligence on his part but as a result of the earthquake. This is reinforced by arguments from foreign geologists, namely Sergei Kadurin, and various kinds of narratives in several print media. However, because of this, it strengthens that PT Lapindo does not provide transparency on this issue. Because at the beginning of opening a business in the area, many people did not know the existence of PT Lapindo, and there were also those who thought it was a company that was not from the mining sector. And also many opinions from the public that this incident was the result of PT Lapindo's mistake while drilling. The research result expressed by Richard Davis in his journal, namely the East Java Mud Volcano, concludes that the cause of the Lapindo mud cast was due to an error during drilling. There is a problem with PT Lapindo CSR program, which is that it requires the community to have a legal evidence in the form of a land certificate if they want to ask for compensation for their house and their land. The Lapindo Mudcast can be suspected as a potential crime corporation for several reasons, including several characteristics of alleged corporate crime such as the diffusion of victimization, difficult to detect and prosecute, complexity, denying sanctions, and diffusion of responsibility. However, de jure, it returns to the decision of the Supreme Court that the Lapindo Mudcast has been declared a natural disaster. In this case, there are 12 suspects, including inside where the general manager of Lapindo Brantas, Imam Agustino, and the director of PT Medici, Citrayeni Nawawi, who were named suspects because they had both neglected to install casing, resulting in underground blowout, which is difficult to control. But there is no definite information about whose fault it was when deciding and drilling that caused the tragedy. PT Lapindo also violates several statutory regulations as follows. First, violation based on Undang-Undang Number 22 in 2001 about oil and gas, because of the operation oil and gas business activities which cannot guarantee the effectiveness of the implementation and control of exploration and exploitation efforts in an efficient, effective, highly competitive, and sustainable manner through open and transparent mechanisms. PT Lapindo also doesn't guarantee its standards and quality are in accordance with statutory provision and doesn't apply good engineering principles, which don't install casing, drill vertically despite warnings, and don't have the mud that is heavy enough to support it. Fix problem in case explosion. Then PT Lapindo also don't carry out environmental management because there are no prevention and control effects pollution as well as restoration of environmental until now. Second, violation based on Undang-Undang Number 32 in 2009 about protection and management of the environment because it has not carried out an analysis of environment risks and has not carried out any countermeasures until now on the Lapindo Mood incident, and also there has been no restoration of environmental function and last has not maintained the sustainability of life function. Third, violation based on Undang-Undang Number 40 in 2007 about limited liability companies because they don't carry out their social and environment responsibility properly. They must given sanction in accordance with the relevant laws and regulations. But unfortunately, there are no sanctions because the Supreme Court decision which stated that the tragedy was a natural disaster. Then the board of directors was deemed not responsible for the management of the company and the commissioners of the PT Lapindo did not carry out oversight and management policies to the directors as well as provided advice to the directors so that this case occurred. Next, GCG at PT Lapindo. PT Lapindo also violated several principles of good corporate governance or GCG. First, transparency. PT Lapindo is considered not to provide easily accessible information and also disclose important information in this case and doesn't install casing when drilling. Second, accountability. In this case, PT Lapindo cannot be held accountable for the performance so that the performance is not sustainable and doesn't care about the interests of stakeholders. Third, responsibility. PT Lapindo doesn't carry out its responsibilities to the community and the environment as well as socially. PT Lapindo also doesn't follow the principle of prudence. And fourth, independence. PT Lapindo is not managed independently and is affected by certain interests or other people. So, it can be concluded that the implementation of CSR and GCG at PT Lapindo has not been going well, and this is bad impact for the company's image in the community. I hope that the Lapindo Mood incident can be resolved immediately by PT Lapindo by being responsible for all its impacts and no longer focusing on one sector and providing clear access to information and transparency in this incident. So that's all from me. I'm sorry if I make a mistake, and I hope my video is so helpfully for this incident. Thanks for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.